Hi folks, this morning we're down in the shop and I thought we would work on a little graduation type sign, something a little bit different. Here we've got a graduation cap here, of course, and a graduate in the middle who's excitedly happy about what he's done. He did it, evidently. Could also make a she did it out of it if you wanted to. This is for the year 2022, and we got our little tassel hanging from the cap here. Pretty much says it all. Make a nice gift for somebody. What I thought we would do is make this out of 1/4-inch birch plywood, and we'll cut out the letters so you can read them. But the little guy here, what I'm going to do is cut him out separately on a different kind of wood, a darker wood probably, and then I'm going to glue him back on. But I'm going to raise it up maybe about 1/4 of an inch to give it a three-dimensional effect to it. We'll put it on a base, and then that should pretty well wrap it up. I'm using my new camera this morning. I'm going to try this, see how it works. This is a GoPro 10 black, and I'm using a neck collar so that I should be able to see everything I do in front of me. Be an interesting approach if this works, so we'll give it a shot. Now, I made 2 copies of the pattern, and the reason I did that is that I'm going to cut this one out. I'm going to use this one to cut out. This one I'll use for the background altogether. I could use the same one, I suppose, but I've got 2, so we'll give it a try. So let's go get a piece of birch ply that will fit this baby, and we'll get to work on it. Okay, I found a scrap piece of birch ply around, and we're going to use this for our main sign. You could do this out of a better wood, of course, but I'm going to just cut it out of this. First of all, we'll cut out our pattern here. There. Throw that aside. And we're going to take some painter's tape and we're going to tape up a section of this board. We're not going to need the whole board here, so have to do a section of it. The tape is to, again, the 7 past videos, so that we can attach our pattern to the wood and then remove it relatively easy later on. And it also makes the blade move a little more smoothly through the wood as it's doing the cutting. Okay, I think that should just about do it. I'm going to go to the table saw and cut off a little bit on the bottom here. We don't need to cut this off, but I think it'll make it a little easier when I'm cutting on the scroll saw. Now we're going to take the sign and put it down right on the edge so we don't have to cut the bottom off, of course. But we're going to attach it with an adhesive. Now you can use all kinds of adhesives they've got available. I like to use a glue stick. So let's go over and take care of that right now. We'll take this glue stick, pick these up at Staples, relatively inexpensive, and we'll stick the back of this pattern nicely. Put a good amount on there so that it doesn't come off on us while we're sawing. And we'll put put our pattern down here, flatten it out nicely. And we do have some internal cuts, the letters inside here, inside the one of the numbers. And then, of course, we'll cut around the exterior to cut this out. So let's go to the little drill press, the mini drill press, and drill some entry holes. We're at the mini drill press here, and we're going to drill some entry holes for the blades. Okay, there's our blank all ready to go. Now we're going to take this to the scroll saw and get our cutting done. I'm going to be using a number 5 reverse tooth blade on this, running it at about 3/4 speed. Not too bad. Should be a fairly easy cut. So let's see how the camera captures this. Okay, here we go. Okay, we're going to cut out the internal part here of this number and the edge of the tassel. Okay, got this piece cut out. Knock it out the bottom here if I can. There we go. And now we're all set to cut this whole thing out. We'll start down here at the bottom. Okay, managed to cut that sign out pretty nicely. I think looks pretty good. I'll take it over to the bench. And let's see what we can do next is take the tape off and pattern combination. Should peel off very nicely, and it does. I have to do it in a couple of segments here, but for the most part it's pretty good. Should have run the tape down closer to the bottom here, but this little piece should come off fairly easy. If not, we can sand it off later. And we'll take the other little scrap pieces off here. A little stubborn here. There we go. And I didn't wrap any tape around the board, so there's nothing on the other side we have to deal with, which is always nice. Now, we've got some fuzzies from the blade on the top part here. I don't know if you can see them in the camera or not, but they're there. So what I want to do is take this over to my mop sander, and the mop sander will take those little fuzzies off for me and round over the pattern. Here we are at the sand flea with my mop sander, and I've also got a regular sander on top here, which will clean this up a little bit for us. Okay, I found this nice little piece of cherry, which I think will be just fine for cutting a little guy out. Put some tape on here. Cherry does tend to burn if you don't use the tape method. So it's imperative that we put this down here. There. Okay, we're going to take some glue on the back of this again. This glue stick, and we'll put it down here on our piece of cherry. And I want to take this over to the drill press and just drill in a little entry hole, maybe right around the cap. There. That'll give us a starting point when we cut this out. It won't flop around as much. Alright, back at the scroll saw here again. Here we go. Alright, got this guy cut out. You can see by the edging here up at the top where the diploma is, I made it a little bit larger than the actual pattern. Looking at it, I was afraid it was going to break off, and thought I'd make it a little bit thicker there. So what we'll do is we'll just peel this off now. And after we get this off, we'll take it on over to the mop sander too and round over the edges, clean up some of the fuzzies on this. This isn't as bad as the other one was. Here we go. Gotta be careful with this. You just gently run it over the brush here. Don't get it in too tight, because something as flimsy as this could snap off. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now what we can do is, when we're going to get this done, of course, we're going to put him right on there. But what we want to do is raise him up a little bit. So we're going to need a little piece of birch ply to put on the back of him so he comes forward a little bit. Let me see what I've got over here. Okay, we got a little piece of birch ply. I'm going to cut off a little tiny square here. Let's do that on the scroll saw. Just do that with the old eyeball. We don't need to spend a lot of time on that. That's going to go behind this guy. We're going to put him down in that fashion so he will be raised above the actual sign itself. Okay. So what we want to do now is take some glue, a little bit of wood glue. I use it in my mustard bottle here, of course. A little drop or two will do. Don't really need a lot on here. Okay, and we'll put that down, glue down our little square here on the back, thusly. Square down on the back there like that. Okay, let that dry for a second or two. And then we'll get this guy ready. We want to put him down on here. So we'll put a little drop on here. Not too much. Don't need a lot on there to do that. I'll turn him over. Okay, we're back here after a little while. See how this thing dried. Yeah, it looks pretty good. That should hold on there nicely. You got that little 3D effect to it. Okay. Now the next thing we want to do is make a base for this. I found this little piece of, I think it's a piece of cherry. It's been sitting around here for a while. It's long enough. I think we can probably make a base out of this. We're going to sand this down a little bit on either side, and then we're going to put a rounded edge by flipping it down like that while the sander is running. And in the process, we will get a nice little round over on the edge. Okay, I could have used the router to round the edges over, but that's a lot easier. And we go back to our mop sander and around, smooth this over a little bit. There. I clean that up nicely and make nice round edges on there. And we take a little bit of glue, put it on the bottom of our sign here. Again, we don't need an abundance of glue here on this thing. Little drops here and there. Bits and pieces. Don't want to use too much. I don't want to have a lot of bleed out all over the place. still get it anyways, but okay. We take this, put it down here, just sort of eyeball the edges there a bit. Put it down on there. Swing it around, get our spring clamp. Put it down on that side. Got another spring clamp here. Take it, put it down on this side. And we'll just wait for this to dry now. And once it's dried out, we will be able to spray it. And it ought to look pretty good. Nice little decorative sign. Make it nice for a graduation party, display, whatever the case may be. Okay, we'll come back when this is all dried out and ready to go. Okay, we're over in the paint area now. And we've let this dry. We're going to spray this with a clear coat, semi-gloss Rust-Oleum. I don't know if you can see this on here all right. And just put a few coats on it and give it a little bit of shine. Here we go. Okay, you just want to give it a thin spray for first time on. I come back later and do a few more sprays like that, and it should end up looking pretty good. Well, that pretty well rounds out the project. Here, I'll put the final image up at the end here. Of course, you can take a look at it. But if you think you'd like to make one of these, you look down below, you'll be able to see the link to the pattern. This is on my free pattern page, and you can download it there and cut your own out and send me a picture of it if you do. I'd like to see it. Appreciate it if you'd like the video, if you did, and maybe subscribe to the channel too. Thank you for watching.